All right, guys, so for 341, we're going to talk about different methods that you can use to graph lines and analyze features of those graphs. Again, a linear function, we're talking about straight lines with a constant slope here. The next lesson, 342, we'll talk about exponentials. All linear functions have a y-intercept. Y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis. If the linear function has a slope other than 0, then it also has an x-intercept. The x-intercept is where the function crosses the x-axis. All right, so key features here, some key concepts. So define the y-intercept in function notation, evaluate f of 0. The y-intercept has those coordinates, 0, f of 0. To locate the y-intercept, determine the coordinates of the function when the line crosses the y-axis. To find the x-intercept, set f of x equal to 0 and solve it for x. This is important. A lot of us forget to do that, but that's how we do it. The x-intercept has these coordinates, x comma 0. This right here is how you calculate rate of change or slope. We talked about that. Did that yesterday, son? The line and the slope intercept form, then the slope is the x coefficient. All right. So, example 1 here. It says, given the function f of x equals 3 over 2x minus 6, use a table of values to graph and identify the x and y intercepts. So we're going to talk about using an xy chart. Okay, basically using a t-chart. So the first one's easy. The first one is easy. To find the y-intercept, you simply have to plug in 0 for x. Okay, if I plug that in, 3 over 2 times 0, right, is 0 minus 6, and that'll be negative 6. So this graph goes through 0, negative 6. Now, let's plug in some points around that to see if we can find where y would be 0. Okay, we'll talk about another way to do it in a minute, but it said to use a table of values. That's what we're going to do. So if I plug in 1, I get 3 over 2 minus 6. So that's 1.5 minus 6, which is negative 4.5. Okay? All right. If I plug in 2, I get negative 3. All right, what you notice is we are approaching 0, so we're going the right direction, so we just need to keep going. If I do 3, that would be 9 over 2, which is 4.5, so it's negative 1.5. Okay? Again, you can use your calculator to get those. Go 4. 3 over 2 times 4 is 6. So then 6 minus 6 is 0. So there's my y-intercept and my x-intercept. Okay? It says to graph those, so I'm going to graph this. Okay? First off, I need a little bit bigger graph. Alright, so I need points here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright. Now, plot those y-intercepts, right? Or that y-intercept, 0, negative 6. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Plot the x-intercept, 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's your line. Okay? Alright, good deal. Next example. It says, given the function f of x equals negative 1/5 x plus 2, use the slope and y-intercept to identify the x-intercept of the function. So we're given the y-intercept. The y-int is 0, 2. Right? If I plug in 0 for x, I get 2 for f of x. Alright? Now, I want to use that to figure out my other intercept, my x-intercept. So what do we know? We had this conversation before. What do we know about an x-intercept? It's when y equals 0. So we take our function and we plug in 0 for f of x. So negative 1/5 x plus 2. Now I need to solve that. For x. So we subtract 2. Once on each side. -2 equals -1/5 x. Get rid of that -1/5, I would need to multiply by the reciprocal on both sides, okay, which would be -5/1. Okay, you keep the negative with it, but you're going to flip, right? -1/5 times -5/1, those cancel out, leaving me with just x. And then -5 basically times -2 is +10. So this would be 10, 0. Doesn't ask us to graph on this one, so we're not going to. But basically, just remember what the x-intercept means and where you need to plug in your 0 should help you find it that way. All right. Given the function f of x equals -4/3 x plus 4, solve for the x and y-intercepts, use the intercepts to graph the function. So, y-intercept, I really don't have to do any solving here. Okay, we use the same thing. You just simply plug in x 0 for x, right? Which means that whole part right there is going to go to 0. This piece will go to 0, leaving me with just 4. So my y-intercept is 0, 4. To find my x-intercept, I need to plug in 0 here. That is 0 equals -4/3 x plus 4. So, just like 4, we can subtract 4. Cancels. -4 equals -4/3 x. And so then I need to do -3/4 on both sides. Okay, and then again that's 4/1. Those cancel, leaving me with just x. And then 4 and 4 cancels. Negative times negative is positive. 3/1, so it's going to be 3. Right. If I'm graphing that, then we're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 4. 1, 2, 3, 3, 0. And then your line goes through. Okay? All right, we'll stop the videos there. Next example's coming.